Hey, Bruce Naylor here, your boomer consumer. It's time for coffee break. Haven't done one of these in over a year. So grab your favorite beverage, coffee, tea, milk, soda, whatever it is that you enjoy, and let's just hang out for a little bit. This gives me an opportunity to kind of get things off my chest and share with you what's going on with me, the channel, tech stuff in general. And so it's a great way to also get your comments and communicate with you folks that watch my videos. So if you read the title of the video, why I'm leaving Windows PC and headed for Mac. Let me preface this video with this before the haters jump in. Number one, this only applies to my personal circumstances. None of this may apply to you at all, at all, at all. Then again, maybe part of it will. Some of it may resonate with you. Now, I make my living selling software. That's what I do. And almost everything I do can be done through a web browser, or it can be done with, I have the software on the Mac, Office and QuickBooks and all that stuff that requires Windows also works on my Mac. So just a little backstory. I have a refurbished Alienware Area 51 R2. And it is a desktop machine. I bought it refurbished 3 years ago. Physically, the only problems it's had is, one was the side panel didn't light up, and number two, it ultimately needed the motherboard replaced. Okay, powerful machine. It's got a Skylake 6800K CPU, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, a 1080 Ti graphics card, 512 gig SATA 3 SSD, and another 2 terabyte drive. So the idea was one machine do everything, because I happen to also like, in addition to Final Cut Pro for editing, I also like Vegas Pro. I know, shoot me, nobody talks about Vegas, but I like it. And I thought I could just do everything on one machine and call it a day. The problem was, again, to be with Windows. Windows itself has been more fiddly on this machine than I think any other PC that I've used in the past, particularly blue screens. For the longest time and I do have, and I want to mention this, I do have the Alienware extended warranty premium support, and I was getting about a year ago just blue screen after blue screen after blue screen. And their answer, by the way, Dell Premium Support. Now this isn't the regular support, this is the Alienware Premium Support. They will have you spend hours and hours running exhaustive tests, and then ultimately their solution is always reformat, reinstall Windows clean. Every time. Until they're thoroughly convinced that it's not a hardware issue. And that's what I did. Got it wiped, got it going. Of course, they want to get on remote control and install their particular drivers and make sure the BIOS is all updated and all that. We did that. More blue screens. And it worked fine for about a month, and then more and more blue screens. Got on the phone with premium support again. We troubleshot everything. And finally, I just gave up, and I got off that machine. Then I moved over to a laptop, and it's the Asus UX 501 laptop. Nice laptop. It's got a quad-core i7, 16 gigs of RAM, NVMe SSD. It's got a the 960M graphics chip, so not that great of graphics, but it did the trick for a while. But the more I thought about it, the angrier I got having this big honking desktop machine here that was just sitting there gathering dust. So, and by the way, just so I'm clear, I would argue that my time is better spent on the phone doing sales and running my company than it is for me to fiddle around doing technical work on my PC trying to fix it. Okay? That's why I even bought a refurbished machine to begin with. Because I could possibly build my own PC But I think my time is better spent doing other things, and it's just not something I really enjoy doing. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Dell support, premium support wasn't any help. And then I finally just said, you know what, I'm going to go through the whole debugging process and find out what's going on. Set the machine not to reboot after a blue screen. That's important. Set it up to create dump files. Started using programs like Who Crashed and Blue Screen Viewer, etc. Come to find out that it was the Intel Turbo Boost Max technology. And the way I understand it works, it basically takes a workload and tries to put it on the highest performing cores in your CPU. As to whether or not it really makes a difference or not, I don't know. But ultimately, I tracked down the problem of that. Dell couldn't find it. Dell totally ignored the problem, didn't even diagnose that. So I removed it. I should say I disabled it. I disabled the software, and then I go several months, no problems. I'm pretty happy. Okay, this thing's going to do its job, no problem. Well, here comes along the May update for Windows, do the upgrade, and guess what happens? I start getting blue screens again. Every couple days, blue screen, blue screen, blue screen. Well, the update actually re-enabled the Intel Turbo Max driver. So I disabled it, rebooted. Day later, it blue screened again. I was beyond frustrated. And here's my thought. I have a 2018 Mac Mini, a 6-core i7, 32 gigs of RAM, 512 gig NVMe SSD. I've got an eGPU with not the best Radeon card, an RX 480, but it does the trick. Why not just move back that? In other words, I feel, and here's something interesting I want to share with you. I work with hundreds of companies throughout North America supplying certain types of software. And I talked to many IT guys. Some of them become friends over the years. And I'll ask them, what's your home computer like? And you would be surprised the number goes, oh, I've got a Mac at home. I kid you not. They go, look, after working on this stuff all day long for recreational use and just general computing, I just don't want to futz around with a computer when I get home from work. So I got a Mac. And it got me to thinking of all my years, how much time I spent fiddling around with Windows, the operating system. I'm not talking about the hardware so much, but the operating system, compared to the amount of time that I spent fiddling with a Mac. There's no contest. I would argue, in my particular case, that a Mac has tended to be much smoother experience when it comes to upgrades, when it comes to updates, when it comes to general stability. I've just had better luck with Mac than Windows, and I just said, you know what, Bruce, enough is enough. You've got a perfectly good Mac Mini here. So why not just go ahead? It's going to do everything that you need to do on the Windows machine. You can use it as your business machine. You can use it for creativity, because that's what I've been using it for, is just editing these videos and making my thumbnails for my YouTube videos. And I would argue that moving over to that Mac will probably give me a smoother, more stable experience than I am on this particular Windows PC. Am I saying that I would have, would a different PC be trouble-free? It might. It just might. But why spend the money on it? Why buy another computer? Why go through putting another computer together? Why not just use what I've got, and it'll just work, and that'll be the end of the story. So in my particular case, that's what I'm going to do. What about the Alienware? I'm going to go ahead and wipe it again. Reinstall all the drivers from scratch. I'm strictly going to use it for a gaming computer. I'm going to just reverse them. And the Alienware will be used for playing video games, particularly Microsoft Flight Simulator. In the version that's coming out, I'm going to outfit this thing with all the controls and everything else for simulated flight. And that's what I'm going to do. I don't know what your experience has been with Windows over the long haul. Has it gotten better? Oh yeah. Windows is definitely, I thought it was getting better, but the last few updates that Microsoft has been pushing out has been causing a lot of people problems. Now I know that they're optional installs, and maybe I tried to be too bleeding edge and jump all over the updates, but the lack of quality control at Microsoft on their Windows updates is really disheartening. Don't take my word for it. There's a YouTuber named Barnacles Nerdgasm who was a Microsoft employee for like 13 years, I think is what he said. And I believe he was on the quality control when they actually had their own people who would put Windows through a battery of tests before they released it to the public. And they got rid of it to save money. Now the public is the beta testers. Not a good move. Not a good move at all. Anyhow, that's it. Talked too long already. I want to get your opinion about Windows, the quality of Windows, the experiences you've had with it, and your thoughts down below. Bruce Naylor, your Boomer Consumer. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.